Everyone good?
I'd say so. I think we're vibing.
Yeah. That's what this
Yeah.
podcast always is, just a vibe, right?
It tries to be, yeah. I'd say we succeed at that pretty often.
I say 50-50.
Yeah, I'm happy we accomplished it at all. Quite honestly.
The bare minimum. We did it, guys.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
listen. This is a grassroots podcast, all right. As long as we can get to the bare minimum, that is an accomplishment right there.
Yeah. Mega, how do you feel about the vibe? Do we hit it?
Seeing as my camera just broke for some reason, there it goes. Fuck. I want to fucking scream. Vibe wise, yeah, no, we're great. We're all vibing, right?
Every week,
so.
every day. Probably not every second, but yeah.
I'm losing my sanity. I think I'm hitting a fucking breaking.
Please don't. I mean, to be fair, we're all in esports. We're all losing our fucking sanity moment by moment.
So what's the deal? Do I need to say some out of context shit? Is that what we're waiting on here?
No,
what's the deal?
I already started a minute and a half ago.
Yeah, there's no out of context stuff here. I'm good. I think I learned my lesson.
Especially after last week. Yeah, there's no out of context shit.
Yo, listen. That was so crazy, Hunter. That's wow.
It was. I have something very, very not worse than that, and it's the shirt I have on that I showed to Rhino and Dex already, but I'll show on stream. Even you know what, person that's here too. You'll appreciate this shirt, Megalass. It is a shirt that says, "Have you considered committing tax fraud?"
Considered. We are tax fraud advocates here at For the Love of Fraud. Thank you very much.
They need the next one.
I offer
exactly.
I offer an informational course on
They need a
tax
next
fraud.
one. First you start consider, then you have to actually commit it. So
Eventually, I commit it every year.
I see an opportunity for a line of shirts here.
Oh, you see, you're thinking, look at this. This guy's a business mogul.
It's an opportunity to commit more tax fraud.
Someone just say we're joking. Please. We do not condone committing tax fraud.
I'm not joking. I've legally committed tax fraud at FBI, at the IRS, at POTUS, at Joe Biden,
Yeah.
at anybody else that really
The
needs
Pope.
to know. The Pope.
Is there an ad for the IRS even?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like IRS Gov. I think it's like the ad.
Yeah.
I know. I DM them a picture of the Hamburglar daily and say, ha ha ha.
Alright, that's fantastic.
Well, I got the clip.
For legal reasons, that's a joke. Dex, enjoy titling the first part of the episode IRS, or the, what's it called, the little bars.
The first chapter of the episode is just going to be called The Vibes.
The Vibes, and then, no, what, the IRS not getting its own segment? That's crazy.
Does the IRS need its own segment? Okay, you know what? I don't want to answer that question. We're going to get on with this thing for the finally here. Everyone, welcome back to episode 21 of For the Love of Prod. As always, I am joined by Huntertain and Megalass, and our guest this week is Rhino. Rhino, man, hey, again, thank you so much for coming on. No, we had to move it back a little bit to get you on, but I'm so happy that we were able to get you on here. Before we get into the mean bones and everything, I want to give the chance to have you kind of give yourself a little bit of an introduction, but I got to kind of rework it a little bit because last week Fletch just kind of took the introduction and ran with probably what would be the first questions we would normally ask. I just want you to give an introduction of where people would, like, what games you've done and what roles you kind of do within esports.
Sure. Well, most of my stuff has been Overwatch since I started with initially getting to everything through when Overwatch released. That was like my first, like, oh, this actually, esports is a thing. Because I probably had only seen like mini tournaments before. So mostly Overwatch. Done some Apex, very few Call of Duty, a few Marvel Rivals since it started. Bunch of other random stuff but that was like more one-offs. I'm trying to think of my other main stuff. Oh, Valorant. Ever since Valorant came out, not as frequently as Overwatch, just from opportunities, but definitely a lot of Valorant wherever possible. A bit of Rocket League, a bit of Apex. Had one day of Fortnite Fall Guys and Kart Rider Drift. So I'm kind of open to anything. But most of it is Overwatch and Valorant, which would, if anyone has worked with me, that's probably where they would recognize me from.
Yeah, and I was gonna say probably all three of us here would recognize you mostly from working with you in Overwatch. Like I didn't know that you have done stuff in Valorant, and a lot of the other shooters as well. But it's fun to hear you say like Rocket League because I feel like that one is always a fun one. Did you say Car Drifter?
It was Kart Rider Drift. It's like a Mario Kart thing. It was another one day. I do a lot of random stuff whenever I get the chance. It's always nice to learn.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's I'd like to go back to this. Sometimes it's this is not a good game to stream, and I hate trying to stream it. But
what game is that? What game is that?
It was Kart Rider. Well, and Fortnite. Unless you have that, you need the special obs account. Otherwise, it's just a real pain to do Fortnite.
You need a special account to do Fortnite? I feel like that's weird for that game.
Or you need a special observing account. Otherwise, you can't like be a normal observer. And then you have to rely on streams or putting someone into the game and then just dying as fast as possible. Which, after trying to do it multiple times, is harder than you would think. Especially if you land on the opposite side of the circle, where it's like closing in on your corner, and it's like, okay, well, I can't walk into the storm, so I've just got to hold W, I guess, to the other side of the map. But yeah, for Valorant, Overwatch, good experience. Good experience there.
Yeah. But now we'll get into like the normal kind of stuff that we do here. We normally ask. I don't know if you listened to the podcast in the past, but we normally ask our guests every week. What got you into doing esports, and what got you kind of into doing esports production? And then after that one, there'll be a continuation of it. But what got you in? Like, what was the thing that really got you into doing this?
So as I touched on a little bit, my initial exposure was through collegiate. So around that, I guess it was my middle of my junior year is where I got exposed to the gaming club on my campus. Because before that, I played some stuff, but had never really expanded out. I was really introverted. I mean, I still kind of am, but at that point, I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. But getting into the later years, got more comfortable, especially through the club. So I initially joined as kind of helping to run the events, not necessarily the stream side, but just logistics of room reservation and how things were going to work, helping with kind of admin related things, I guess would be an easy way to put it. And then some parts of it was helping with the streams initially it was through Andbox and oh my god, I'm blinking. NYXL. It's been a while, but since we had someone from our club that ended up working with them later on, we worked with the team on a few different collegiate activations. Part of that were streams. So if anyone was doing Overwatch collegiate stuff in the Northeast around 2020, you probably remember stuff like Boston Uprising and the Andbox New York tournaments that were going on. So I helped out with a little bit of those. And that was the initial exposure to like, oh, this is an actual thing. I'm like kind of getting more interested in the broadcast side compared to the event running side. And then the real start was at the end of my college experience. I learned about ELO Hell or ELO Hell Esports, which had I stumbled upon a post somehow. I don't really remember, and just signed up. It was a bit of a rough start because there wasn't much training. I was a lot of like learning on my own, but once I got stuff figured out, that's kind of where I was like, oh yeah, I want to keep doing this.
What you didn't mention what school did you go to? Because it sounds like New York. I don't want to necessarily say like a random school in New York and be dead wrong. Which school was
No,
it?
I don't know anything in New York. In Connecticut, so University of Connecticut.
Oh, UConn.
So we're on the
nice.
eastern, it's like the middle of the eastern side of Connecticut, in the middle of nowhere. uh, so there was a few things of working at events in New York and going to events in Boston through those different teams. Actually, hold on.
You're good.
I do have.
Shout out to Connecticut. I was raised there. It's pretty cool.
I did not know that, Mega. You're from
This
Connecticut.
is
Yeah.
This is the only time I can flex this. So I don't know if you have audio only, but this is the only time I can flex my NYXL jacket that was custom printed
Oh,
at
shit.
one of the NYXL events in New York that I worked at.
Nice.
Pretty
So they had a thing that you could buy a jersey and then print whatever name you want on it. So it's got like the patches on the side, and I thought I had either Korean or I think it's Korean wording on the front, so you can kind of see it. Yeah, there you go. I don't remember what it said because it's been a bit. I had a Korean friend at the time that knew what it said, but I don't know at the moment. So
why do I want to take
this was also a
like Excelsior?
Yeah, it's probably one of the slogans.
Hmm.
If I had to guess.
I mean, like that's an insanely cool piece of just merchandise. Like that's probably a really rare thing to have.
Yeah, I have some like other random pins, but for merch wise, I remember them being a lot, but we all got all the people that worked the event got one. So at that point, I was like, that was definitely into it, because that would have been before I even graduated. Yeah, that was 2018.
So
that was more of exposure to I want to do more of this.
And hey, you're already starting to get into the next part of the question, but it sounds like you were really getting into it as I would say Overwatch League was kind of really starting to get going. I thought they were like 2017, 2018, and 2019 they had steadily built up, and then 2020 came along, and I really think that killed that league, and it killed that league entirely.
I would definitely agree. I mean, I definitely I did a few different NYXL stuff in 2018. But after that, 2020 was I think the last one for just kind of bigger Overwatch stuff. There was that one time I worked at the. Well, I don't want to keep talking about that. Sorry. Yeah. What's the next part?
We might bring
I'll keep talking about the good old days forever.
Yeah, we might bring it back up later. We're fine talking about the good old days here. But I mean, we know. So you just told us what got you in. What kind of keeps you coming back to it? Because I don't know if it's your full-time job or if it's something that you truly just do it because you love doing. What is the thing that keeps you coming back doing esports prod?
I wish it was my full-time job. I would love to if possible, but at the moment, I just kind of do it wherever I can. Wherever it makes sense to. If it's my main criteria, I guess, of stuff that I do now is mostly like, does it line up with my other things? Is it not going to be too much of an inconvenience or going out of my way too much? Or if it is it worth it? Is this a new group? Is this a new opportunity for learning? Are they recommendation, or do I know other people who have already interacted with this group that can vouch for them? Stuff like that. Like, is it going to be a positive experience? Not even necessarily like payment. I mean, if I'm already experienced with something, payment's kind of a larger criteria. But if it's like a lot of the new games I mentioned before, if it's an opportunity where someone's just trying to get something off the ground and they're just looking for people to help out with it, and it's not like a long-term commitment, I'm still kind of open to that because that's a chance to learn and get my boot in the door. If it does become more later on, great. If it doesn't, then, like I said before, if it's Kart Rider Drift, now I know I don't want to do Kart Rider Drift again.
I would imagine, like,
but and the people. It's always the people that coming back. If it's the tournament organizers, the casters, producers, observers, whoever else is on my team in that group is another great reason I keep coming back and keep checking on teams and groups. Even if I'm not doing events, we're like groups like Console Gaming League. We don't have something going on right now, but I still like to keep up on the goings on, and whatever food people are posting is always interesting. Or random conversations.
Big Sam posts that stuff like every day.
I'm jealous every time.
I'm jealous too because the food he makes looks really fucking good, and I'm sitting here staring at my quesadillas like, damn. he can make a fucking 3-course meal, and I'm struggling with a goddamn quesadilla.
Every time I go and I check the CGL like staff chat or caster chat, I will just see some kind of food sitting there almost every single time.
Just a picture of food, and then it's just at Headround. Do you want some?
Come on.
Like right there. There's just what are those? Are cinnamon rolls? Holy! Oh my god!
They post cinnamon rolls. Are you gonna make me pull up the fucking CGL Discord?
You could.
I love how you say pull up the CGL Discord as though it's some great heinous crime.
Bro's got some steaks. Goddamn.
I have to fucking get it all set up. That's the problem, which I'm doing.
And he goes back to back. He hits you with the peach cobbler and then the double steak. What is this?
So.
Uh-oh. So something.
Bad boys.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's incredible sometimes what gets posted
that this
here.
morning.
Oh, there's more than this. Look at those. That mac and cheese though.
No, like I know that.
Good thing I had dinner.
Yeah, same. Speaking of quesadillas, yeah, I struggled making quesadillas when I got home from work. But like, I mean, that's like going back to it though. Like, the people is definitely one thing, especially like when we first started this podcast. We always talked about how it was the people that always brought us back, and a lot of the first guests we had also said that. Granted, people started to give different answers, but there's always, a part of it is like, oh yeah, working with this person, doing this, and working with these people always kind of, made its way into why they kept coming back. But like generally, no matter what kind of event or league I've ever worked in, like the people have always just been incredible. Granted, there are outliers where it's like these people sucked, and that's why I didn't stay working with them. And like I think all of us have found different people, different leagues where we can generally say like, hey, I like going back to this place or this league or this event because the people there are always so great.
Oh, definitely. That's why I've been with some groups for like multiple years, or some I stayed for a while and then they fell through. People just, for different reasons, the group stopped doing stuff, which was always a bit bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
But changes happen, groups come and go, so still definitely appreciative of like the vast majority of them. Even if it was just one-offs and stuff, it's still new people, new opportunities. Sometimes that new person you just learned could be, or met, I should say, could be the way to a whole other group later on. I've had that happen before, where you join one group and then you have that caster or have that producer be like, hey, are you down for this other thing that I'm working with, or need someone to fill or something like that? So that's another great stuff of just being in a whole bunch of different groups in different areas, is all the connections.
Yeah. Hunter, Mega, like going off what Rhino was saying here with connections, like has there ever been like one person or maybe a group of people that you guys have kind of like had those connections with where they got you into maybe other leagues or other kind of events?
Oh. I need a moment to think about this because I do have an answer, but I need to confirm before I put on propaganda.
But before I actually answer the question, I just want to say I always feel bad because I feel like I answer first, so I intentionally shut up there.
Do you
But Hunter
want,
always
do you,
pulls this shit where he's like, "Oh."
do you want me to answer
But no,
first, Mega?
I legit don't. I
listen,
don't want to give information, bro.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No, I have an answer. Echo's my girl. I literally Echo. If I'm like, gosh, I really want to do this, or I really want to do this, she will. She's got so many connections, and because she knows she can rely on me, she's like, yeah, I'll plug you in here, do this, da 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 da. Easy peasy lemon squeezy all day, every day. It's great. Absolutely love her.
At least for me, at least when I got started, I would say it was Hippie. Because I started with Peaches, he got me into Tranquility, he got me into CGL, and then that I met so many other people through those two places, through Trank and through CGL, that it's BPL now, it's SPCS, it's Kitsune, it's some of the other leagues that no longer exist, like Flux Cup and League Zero. Like I met a lot of those people because I ended up meeting Hippie. Hunter?
Yeah, I'll partially loop back to Echo because I do have to give Echo a lot of that credit. Where obviously, like you and myself did a lot of stuff for Blitz because of Echo and Blitz. We got to do that. Obviously, just being suggested for a lot of different things as well. It doesn't always work out, but the fact that there's someone willing to kind of put that name out there, I would say is fantastic to have. If I'm gonna name somebody else though. Generic answer, but like low key head rammer for like pulling back into CGL my second time around. Because like I've said before, I did it for a couple seasons, disappeared for a long time, and ended up needing to slide back in. And head rammer was happy to bring me back in and get me back into the loop. And then 3-4 seasons later, still going strong with season 16 coming up sometime in August, September? I think.
Late August. Sure.
Yep.
There's a stadium tournament and then goats coming up.
And the Kunoichi's happening. Don't forget about Kunoichi. Sign up below.
True. There's a lot of things happening. There's the
Making me more work. I have to find the Kunoichi sign up link.
No. It's fine. Find the CGL.
27th.
Also, I will say, don't do things like BPL did, where you ping 3 times today. I nearly killed Knock on Wood.
They did. I'm like, why have you done this?
Solomon, and then it was Knock on Wood twice. Like, I could just completely ignore them after Solomon because I thought they were just testing some shit. Oh, God. It's so funny when those pings go out there. It's like, hey, everyone. And it's not supposed to be geared towards everyone.
As someone who used to do like a lot more Discord management, I was always like the most anxious whenever having to ping everyone because I'm like, did I remember everything? Is everything actually in here? Especially now with I have to basically do the same thing with Microsoft Teams. Granted, it's like 45 people instead of 800 or whatever in a Discord, but I'm still like anxious every time. And then I always forget something because of course you do, or you forget like a typo or something. So I've been there, although I feel like 3 in one day from 2 different people, something else. You might have missed something.
Yeah.
Like,
but I've been there.
Like that's one thing with me. Like there's I think there's like maybe a couple servers where I have the power to do that. And it's just like anytime that I have to, like, back when Trank was still a thing, one of its final seasons, like I was the person who had to send out the message to the team saying like, hey, you have to do this, you have to friend, one of the teams has to friend this observer so they can get in, and just, hey, good luck tonight. Every time I did that, I was like rereading everything, even though it was just a copy and paste and change like 3 ats and that was it. But I was like, okay, let me make sure I have the right teams. Let me make sure I have the right person. There was one day where they did not tell me the game changed. I sent it out and I immediately got pinged by, I think it was Mr. Ye saying, or it was Mr. Ye or Hippie just saying, that's not the game today, right? I was like, fuck! Because I don't want to go back and do something like that. It's like, even when, like, and it's not necessarily pinging everyone. It's like when I reach out to people as well, it's like, damn, I'm going to send this message and then just fucking close Discord. I don't want like I anytime I ping someone directly on Discord, it is I send the message, immediately get off either the DM or just go to another channel or I just close Discord because I don't want to necessarily see if I fucked up.
Yeah. I definitely was. I don't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure I was doing the same thing back in like 2021 when I was having to send all those messages. And especially the worst part is when you send the announcement or you push the button and then it's like, you're about to ping 1,000 people. Are you sure? I'm like, no, I'm not sure. I don't want to be here. I don't want to send this message. I don't want the guys. But yeah, I got to do it.
I think if I had that message pop up saying, "Hey, you're about to ping, 1,500 people," I'd just be like, "I'm out. I'm gonna fucking leave the Discord."
I don't think I want to actually.
This was not as important as I thought it was. You can find someone else. I'm just gonna fade away. You guys won't remember who I am in a week anyway. So, yeah, I'm out.
See, this is why you need to adopt my strategy, which is the only server where I would necessarily be like one of the people trusted to ping or do anything like that would be Rising Cord. But because Echo knows I would tell people to go fuck themselves on a whim, she knows to just not give me that power. So it's just pretty easy.
Okay. I don't know if that's going to work at my work.
That's also the best response that we could have got from that. I hate Microsoft Teams. I fucking hate Microsoft Teams. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Just join the club. Join the club. Join the club.
I had to fucking learn it for my internship, 2021. I was just like, no one fucking uses it. The only time it ever got used was for like mass messages, and everyone would just immediately just click it so the little like icon would go away, and then they would just get off of it. Like it's awful. Microsoft Teams fucking sucks.
If I could get them on an alternative, I would, but they're definitely everybody's too ingrained into it. Plus, if we get more, if we do some other thing, then they gotta pay more. They're not doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
So we live.
Okay, but moving away from pinging everyone here, let's focus a little bit back in on more of what you kind of do with esports. Like you talked about doing all these multiple games. Like what's the big learning curve with it? Because I'm gonna hate that I'm potentially pulling at straws here, but you are a producer and an observer. What you can produce, you can observe. What is there anything else? What else do you do?
That I can do? One of my talents?
Yes.
Surviving Microsoft Teams.
Fair enough.
No. From esports side, I mean, I did some event management from collegiate. I haven't really done any since then. So some tournament admin stuff, like if I had to help out, I would be able to. Esports side, it's primarily producer, technical director, observing. Did some observing director, where I wasn't necessarily the person observing, but I was making sure. Sorry, it's just like a storm outside. I was the person managing the observers since we had 4 of them, and then cutting between which feed to use at any given moment, and generally making sure everything that they needed, they had. Outside of that, I mean, I used to play on our team Overwatch 2 for like a semester and a half. It was not a good experience. It was forever ago. We were college kids. Like I understand, we're not like we didn't really scrim that much or anything. So I wouldn't do it again. But it was like a formative experience, if anything. Still learned a lot. I'm not sure. I don't really have anything else. I think, or unless are you looking for like roles or games or technology?
I just want to kind of know what roles you have done. But quick sidebar, Hunter, Mega, you guys want to invite Rhino to choose production crew next season for CGL?
Start stressing out. Yeah, come join the great thing we have.
We don't scrim. We just show up and play.
Oh, we just show up, play games, and that's it.
My availability is like really chopped though because I have late work hours, so I'm only at my computer like after 8 o'clock.
You'll fit
I
right
mean,
in.
could be down. Could be down.
You'll fit right in. We're forcing Spec to play at 3 a.m. his time. You're good.
Okay.
It is almost never the same lineup.
Yeah. But
then I have to actually get my account ranked. But anyways,
that's fine. We'll get Headrare to put you through.
Okay.
No, he won't. That's the problem. He fucking won't. Fuck that guy.
I'll get started now.
Dude, that dude is like CGL is harder to get into than Fort fucking Knox. I'm convinced. Like I don't want to go down this tangent fully, but Jesus Christ, that man is a fucking demon and should be absolutely dealt with by somebody who has some sort of training.
Funny enough, that's not the first time Mega has said the phrase "CGL's harder to get into than Fort Knox" in this podcast.
It's true.
Yeah. But getting away from the tangent there, you do all those roles. Which one in your opinion is like the hardest one to actually do? Like, in just from all your experience, even if it's been like you've only done it maybe 1 or 2 times, which is the one that you would look at saying, yeah, this is the one that I have to really focus in on the most?
I would definitely have to say, because it kind of the producer technical director side, how it's described can vary across groups and regions, but definitely if you're looking at like in our level of stuff, a lot of the producer technical stuff is or the producer and technical director are kind of merged into one. So I would say definitely if you're solo producer technical director with multiple observers and potentially like a lot of graphics. I've had it before where certain groups put way too much on the technical director, where you're doing like graphics operator would be another role in a larger group where when you start to merge all 3 of those, it gets to be too much. So I would say definitely at that level. Generally, though, if it's a lower tier event where there's not as much going on with it, it can still be a great event. I'm just saying from a technical director side, if I don't have to worry about a whole lot, it's not too bad. Definitely still more difficult though than an observer, because observer, you're mostly chilling until you get in the game. Then you're pretty much hard focused. But yeah, even as a technical director side, you're largely still focused, at least you should be, while the game is still going on. There's still communication going on. You're still making sure all the feeds are working, video, audio. There's probably graphics updates that you need to get done during that. Preparing for breaks, emergency tech pauses. So still overall technical director, but when you're in the game, observer can be more difficult. Depends. It's just kind of overall average. I would say technical director side.
I mean, I feel like when we've had on people in the past who have done multiple roles but have done directing and just anything with kind of producing and not being the observer, they do kind of say the exact same thing. They share your sentiment there or your statement, just because like it's different things at different times with it, and that's always been a fun thing to kind of hear from now multiple people, where they're all kind of saying like, yeah, it's this thing that like I look at as the hardest thing. It's nice to know that everyone is kind of in that same kind of share that same kind of thought with it, because you would think that there would be some people that find doing this one thing a little bit more difficult, but it's nice that especially like where you say where a lot of us are in the grassroots tier 4, tier 3, whatever it is, whatever tier it is, like that they're all kind of sharing the same statement or sentiment.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If anything, maybe depending on how another group organizes things, I could see the answer being different. But if they're doing things differently, I'd be interested to see how, because I think even though I might complain sometimes or get a little overwhelmed, it's all still good. Unless, like I said, I've had some where they just put way too much on the technical director. That stuff I regret doing a little bit. The stuff I'm doing now, though, it's a good balance. Happy with where I am.
how about let's actually dive a little bit deeper now. Like what like when they actually do put what the hey, what are you doing? Okay. Fuck, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Okay. No. When you do have too much stuff put onto you here, like,
Yeah.
what is your kind of like normal thing you have to go through? Is it you're trying to figure out if you can like maybe push it off to someone else or delegate, or is it like are you trying to sit there and figure out like how you're gonna do this all and make it still look smooth?
Yeah, it's primarily the latter of what's the plan of attack? How am I going to actually set this up? Because I like to do a lot of pre-setup as a technical director producer to get as much stuff automated as I can, or just to like a single button press, or at least be like, okay, I know I have to go through this, this, and this, and then maybe at this point I have to do kind of update. Maybe at this point I have to prepare some kind of manual thing that I can't just plug in somewhere 5 minutes before. So it's a lot of just planning, and if it also, I guess not. I was going to say physically, but I guess it's not physically. My monitors, in terms of how I'm going to actually lay everything out. Uh, so the monitor real estate is also a big question. Okay, I know I need to use this tool. I know I need to have this website open. I know I need to be able to see the observer feeds or see the caster feed. How much stuff do I need to see? When do I need to see it? Can I have it on my side monitor? Can I have it in the main? Is it like a big application? Is it a small one? Do I even need it open or just need it minimized? So all that kind of planning is definitely a big part of it. However much I can. Again, this comes back to, are they giving me everything day of? Not great. Are they giving me everything 2 days before? A little better. Is it multiple days before? Much preferred. But that also scales with how much they actually expect you to do. If it's just, show up, we already have everything prepped for you, great. Although I've also had it where it's like, here's the OBS collection, and then it's, if you've had to import an OBS collection from someone, you have to change a bunch of stuff with like audio, the browser settings, how they have stuff labeled isn't how you change the names of it. I feel like sometimes people think you can just import the collection and then go, but I still need time to edit that. I don't like how you organized everything. It's not how my brain works. I can't do. I don't know. I don't have a good example, but I always put the like starting BRB and caster stuff in a certain order, and if it's not in that order, my brain takes too long to. Not takes too long, but it's extra workload.
Yeah.
So more time, the better.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I've done. This is gonna be completely different, but like, but setting up stuff in OBS, like when I did when I streamed one Face-It game, it was like, okay, I'm not just gonna use the normal thing I use when I'm streaming, when I'm just streaming on my own playing Overwatch. Like, I need to set up a whole different thing. I need to have everything kind of laid out like this. And at the end of it is like, what the fuck did I do? None of this makes sense. Why do I have scoreboards at the bottom and everything else at the top? How is it shown? It's like, I understand putting it all in a certain order because you want to be able to like, okay, I can quickly just do this and it all works fine. But off topic, or kind of on topic, off topic, I'm gonna take a guess you have 2 monitors? Or do you have 3?
3.
3?
3. I would have to find like the old photos, my setup. I think I started with 2. And then eventually, I think I started with 2, and then pretty soon after I had 2, and then was also using my laptop. And then after actually upgrading my computer and getting better monitors and having some actual money, then I bought a nicer monitor. I got a free one from an event in college I was actually helping to run. Or actually, no, I didn't help run that one. Well, okay, I didn't help plan it. I helped to run it because I joined during the planning phase. So I got that free monitor. That one died 2 months ago, so I bought a replacement.
Oh,
Actually, no. I think it was 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. That one died. It just like black screened. It was dying for a while though. So 3 monitors. Sometimes my laptop now, if I still need it. All 3 monitors, 1440p. I cannot use 1080p monitors anymore. I hate it. I have some at work. I hate it. So yeah, 3 monitors.
wait.
Middle one is curved because you gotta get the curved monitor.
Yeah, I can't make a joke about that because this monitor right here is a curved one. My second monitor is one I bought all the way back in 2015 that I'm still surprised works.
Survived more than mine.
It's
Mine got 2016 and died.
It survived one move, a move to college, a move back home, back to college, back home, to college, to my college apartment, another move, then 2 more moves, and it's still working just fine. Why do you hate 1080p? Like, I just want to ask that question. Why? Like, that's such a weird thing. I've never heard anyone say, "Yeah, fuck 1080p, man."
It's not enough space. It's just not. For all this stuff I need to run at this point. I mean, if you're just doing, if you're not a technical director or you're not using it all day, sure, fine, you could probably get away with it. Nobody really cares. But I do mainly for esports producing and technical directing, so I need all the extra space. And then at work, I'm not staring at Excel sheets all day, but I'm doing a lot. And if I only have 1080p, like you could do the scaling, but then it messes other stuff up. So I just don't like the 1080p. I'm not buying another 1080p monitor. If it's something like the Switch resolution where it's like a
Handheld,
a mobile handheld thing, yeah, fine. I'm not going between 4 different Excel sheets on that. I'm just gaming. I could live with that. But for actually doing my work, I hate 1080p. I'm not buying another one.
Mega Hunter, do you guys have any opinions on 1080p?
Just that just that it's optimal and simple to do.
Listen, you're talking to the wrong person. I didn't know I was using mouse acceleration for 3 weeks on this PC.
Oh no!
Wait. I don't. How do I check that? Because I don't know if I've been
Go to your mouse settings. So help me God, Dex, if you've been playing for years.
Check your mouse acceleration. Check your monitor refresh rates.
Where do I find mouse acceleration?
Check your computer fans. This is just a general checkup for all the listeners at this point.
Okay, so you're pulling up your mouse settings. You're going to like the extra settings. And then there's like a third tab. I don't remember what it's called. But you're looking to see if there's a box basically that says enable pointer precision.
I have that enabled. Disable it.
It's over! It's over! Congratulations, you're gonna climb an entire rank minimum. Congratulations. You can aim now.
Wait, where?
You can aim now. Congratulations.
Are you on Windows 11?
Fuck if I know. I think I'm on Windows 10.
Oh, good lord. Display pointer trails? Oh, Jesus, this is trippy.
Oh, God. Well,
you should be able to just search mouse settings and you'll find.
All of Dex's ranked streams make so much more sense now.
Oh no.
That's crazy.
What the hell? I don't play to be good at the game. I play to fuck around. Occasionally, I just pretend to be good.
Well, congrats. You're now gonna be.
Now you'll climb
good.
like no one's ever seen.
Yeah, I'm gonna be too good for shooting.
That was holding back. We're
you can come join. You can come join me in Masters. We can wait a minute. We can actually. We're slowly building up casters and Masters. We have me and Spec there. Y'all just got to start climbing.
I'm close.
I was in GM, but that was like forever ago.
Why is everyone fucking
right
better
get
than
there again.
God damn it!
It was like 20.
Grind, bro.
It was when I was no lifing the game in like 2020. So
fair enough.
It doesn't really mean anything.
Fair enough.
Just gotta grind at it, man.
I am not GM skill anymore.
Okay. Let's get away from talking about how bad I am at computers and video games. Speaking of video games, Rhino, you said you worked with a whole bunch of different games. Like, what are there any little differences that you see in games that you would not have necessarily thought would have been there? Like, say, go from like Overwatch to maybe something like Rivals or something like Valorant, where Overwatch and Valorant aren't necessarily the same type of game, a tactical shooter versus a multiplayer or I don't necessarily know what the fuck to Overwatch, which sucks. But is there like any little differences that you were surprised by going between games?
Well, from my perspective, really going between games, it's a question of the kind of support they have for tournaments, which I was very impressed with Rivals coming out of the gate with huge support for custom games and spectating, compared to something like Valorant still does it pretty well, and Overwatch does it pretty weird quirks with like team size and team swaps and some options. Particularly stuff with like Valorant still not having replay viewer, which will be in later this year if they stick to their schedule. So, if anything, I would definitely say Marvel Rivals. I was impressed with how much stuff they had out of the gate, because really just all around, like the amount of support they've had so far, that's what they needed to actually keep this game running more than how long like Concord ran, or should I say like stumbled for 2 weeks or something.
Do we even say that stumbled?
That was the largest money laundering scheme in history, as I call it.
Remember when that Netflix like video game documentary was gonna have an entire episode dedicated to Concord?
It does. It still does, doesn't it?
No, I think
it's still there.
I mean, it's made.
Yeah, it's there, but they
like,
never
didn't they
released
publish it?
No, I don't think they released it since it failed before the episode launched.
I'm curious.
What was it called? Level Up or something?
That's also what I thought, but I don't think it is.
Oh, Next Level.
Didn't they have a Warhammer?
They had the only thing I remember that show having is the weird Pac-Man game.
I heard about that. And then they're making a game based on that. I saw as well.
Well, no, that's why they made that episode, because they're making that game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Chicken and the egg at the same time.
Let's
trying to think of the other ones.
Get back to the question. Concord.
Yeah.
Concord sucked. Let's just let it die. Actually, let it fucking rot, I guess.
So, it's in its grave. It's fine. There's not too much else with it. It's mainly that kind of support. I think the only other thing to add would be Apex Legends. When I initially was doing stuff with that, when the game, not exactly when the game came out, but it came out. The thing I had never considered, which actually League still has this, was editing the files for observing support. Because Apex actually just did an Apex event last weekend. So this has changed now, but when I initially did it a few years ago, they didn't have the observer keybinds available in the settings. So you would have to go to the settings file and add the proper formatting for the keybinds, the names of the controls for observing, because it wasn't in there already. Now it's in there, and you can go in and change them, which I actually kind of didn't know. I didn't double check it last weekend, and then I did my old change, went in, and was like, oh, there's a whole section in there, because it kind of messed with, when I did the manual change, it messed with some other keys. So I was like, why is this not working? I just set the file, and then I checked, and I was like, oh, because it broke this other thing. So that's good now. I think Apex's, the observing there is pretty solid. So yeah, a lot of the controls and just support for custom games observing is definitely key for this stuff. So the changes Overwatch has done, great. the stuff Marvel Rivals came out of the gate with, great. And stuff like Valorant. I think there were some bugs initially, but they've added more settings that were stuff like I wish were in there at the initially. A great example is the scoreboard. If you were observing Valorant when it came out, tab for the scoreboard, and you have to hold it for like the whole break, which is 35 seconds every round. Which is annoying, which is why I put on my foot pedal. But then they added the option to toggle. Greatest addition ever to Valorant. That was the best update. I don't care about any of this. That was the best one. So that kind of stuff is what I'm looking for when I am seeing how to do the observing, how easy it is. And streaming as well, because if you're the TD, you kind of have to all that stuff. What is possible for this game? Or is it like Fortnite where you just have to get a Twitch stream?
Yeah. It's every time we have an observer or a producer come on and they mention the foot pedal, it's always so funny to me.
You want to see it?
Like it's a great, like it's such a useful tool.
This thing's great.
Do you have like the Elgato one, or do you have just...
Oh yeah, no, I splurged.
Yeah, like
I splurged on a foot pedal. That can be the chapter title.
I might like
actually I think it was on sale, so I didn't get it full price.
Like, there's always a part of me that wonders if I could fucking set up the racing pedals I have for it, but I don't know if it would necessarily work.
Potentially, you'd have to do like joy to key or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I've never really done those kind of custom input setups. That's why I said screw it. I'm getting the Elgato foot pedal. I don't want to deal with. Like, I could get a cheaper one, do a bunch of binds, and it'd be a lot cheaper, but I just want to be able to push the button and mute Discord. I'm gonna buy the Elgato foot pedal. On sale.
Sidebar off of the foot pedal. How many stream decks do you have?
2.
Hey. You paused there like saying 2 was gonna be something that we were gonna judge you for when I have 0.
I thought you were gonna say Elgato equipment, which I guess in that case is still just the 3.
So record holder for. Sorry to interrupt, but who's our record holder currently for stream decks? Is it Knock with like 5?
I think so.
Does Knock have 5?
Just on their desk or in total?
I think it was maybe it was Solomon with 5.
I'm gonna fucking message Knock asking him how many stream decks do you have.
5 sounds like
live.
I don't even know what to do with 5.
Maybe I'm just hallucinating.
Now, like the safest guesses you could say would be Knock, Solomon, or Hippie.
Yeah, I was my first guess was Hippie, but I don't remember his desk photo.
I think it's Hippie. I think Hippie might honestly have 4, and he's waiting for the next announcement. Like, hey, we're making a larger XL that has 10 more buttons.
5 or 4, I could see.
Yeah.
So the only reason I have 2 is because my initial one was the standard, which was I think a Christmas gift from my girlfriend, and then I got the XL maybe like a year ago, just because I was getting to the point of having too much stuff to do, particularly with some of the console or some of the CGL events where there was a lot of stuff I wanted to do and different kind of setups I wanted to run, especially with different kinds of events like the Saturday night watch that required more separation of things, like distinct sections of content where I didn't want everything in one place. and there might have been too much content to kind of display in one standard Stream Deck screen. I keep going back and forth. Other stuff I want that's consistent throughout. So then I got the XL also on sale. Don't remember how much, but I'm a sucker for good deals. So Stream Deck XL is here. I actually keep the standard one at work because I don't want to deal with setting up multiple with different scenes and buttons. So my girlfriend was like, well, don't get rid of the standard one. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to use that at work. So now I use it for Teams. Which it all really comes back.
I can't imagine binding a Stream Deck to fucking Microsoft Teams.
If you get like the Neo, I think the Neo one's cheaper. I could see that. I did have a person at work come in and was like asking
Did
about
you
it.
punch your microphone?
Yeah, what happened there? That was.
Rhino, say something again.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm here.
Uh-oh.
Quickly disconnect and reconnect your microphone. You're starting to get choppy.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would be recommended.
It kind of sounds like you're being put through a deep fryer.
True.
Well, someone we all wish we could.
What did you do?
Bro did something.
Oh no.
This is.
I didn't push anything.
Oh wait. Say something again.
Oh well.
I think it's better.
I could check
I
the
don't
other
know.
end of the cable. I didn't touch anything.
It's not.
It's not better.
It's not.
It's not.
Monka W. I mean, like, you're understandable. It's just the issue. It sounds like you have like a robot filter on.
I'll check the Logitech stuff.
I mean, maybe it's just Discord itself.
But believe it or not, I actually just started mining cryptocurrency on Rhino's computer.
Why don't if the video ninja's up, why don't you try having him switch his audio over to video ninja? Wait.
Rhino, say something.
Yo, hello.
Oh,
No, we're back.
We're good.
Are
we're
we?
good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, Rhino, moving on here. Well, like, it's always so fun to hear people talk about the events they've done and the stuff they worked at. What is necessarily like your favorite event, or like whether it be in person, over online, or just or league? Like, what has been your like one that you always kind of go back to and say like, oh yeah, this, like, I would say this one was my favorite. I had the most fun, or it was like there was some challenge, but this was the one I really look at as being like my best work. Like, what is that event for you?
That's a big question. My best work.
It doesn't have to be your best.
If
but
anything,
like the one you had the most fun with.
Yeah, no, like most impact. I'm trying to look at the history now. I think there might be a few. I do. Okay, at least the one that initially stands out to me kind of overall would be working with the Corporate Esports Association that I initially joined. I'm trying to check the date. I think it would have been back end of 2020. And I think 2021 would have been where that really kind of took off for me in terms of being able to kind of apply a lot of that stuff I was talking about earlier with learning new tools, actually applying those, looking for opportunities to automate, expand, make things easier for me, especially in that role where I was doing technical directing and observing. There's a lot of things where I had to figure out, okay, if I'm going to do all this, how do I make it as seamless as possible for me? How do I make it a good experience for the players? And how do I make it a good experience for the casters? So that was, and it being a weekly event, that was kind of my first big weekly thing where it was a continuous chance to improve. It wasn't kind of sporadic or some kind of org where it wasn't predetermined time. Maybe like they'll have an event 1 month, maybe another event the next month. It was a repeated thing where I had the chance to improve. The one more recently, I would say, just because it also stood out to me, would be that the one we talked a bit earlier about from CGL with the Friday night Overwatch stuff. That would have been around February. That was also a big opportunity for me to apply a lot of stuff that I had learned in a bigger format, in a new format, and I think I did pretty well. I think I only had one chance to do the technical acting side, and then I was going to do the next one, but something happened. I forget if it was canceled or not.
It was
But
it was just stopped for budgeting reasons.
Well, yeah, I know it was stopped, but I thought I was going to do. I had scheduled for one before it got stopped. But either way, I had like a bunch of stuff I went back on and changed, and like from notes that I had during the stream, changes I wanted to make, and buttons that I had moved around, and was like, oh, okay, I need to combine these or get rid of these. I had a bunch of changes that I did after that. So that was another one that really stood out to me of just a chance to improve and apply all the stuff that I had previously. I think those two would be the big ones. There might be something else, but it would have been like even older.
Yeah.
Like 2022 or something.
But like Mega Hunter, like what events do you look at as like your like ones that you guys will always kind of go back to and talk about, like, and here I'll answer first this time so that it's not one of you guys going. Like,
love it.
Like, I'm actually going to something that happened earlier this year with working the Big South Conference Championship lands at Winthrop. Mostly because it was just like it was something where I joked about it, where I believe it was Mara who talked about it first, like, hey, we're having this. I jokingly threw out there, like, do you guys need casters? I just kind of left it at that. But it was like so fun working it because I saw Mara, I saw Bailey, I saw Sam, all people who who have worked in CGL, and it was just so fun to see all of them again. It felt like it was just a really, really good put on event, especially for the size of it. And I think I was being told like it was Winthrop's like first forte into actually streaming their stuff, which is something they never did before, which was a big surprise to me, considering like they are an incredible esports program in college to never do a stream like that. So it was really, really fun.
Yeah. I've said this before for this question. I'll say it again just because I haven't had that event yet that I think really I would shout as my favorite, but it pretty much goes all the way back into me getting back into casting, which was the broadcast project for Timeless in 2023 we did for the summer contender season. Just because it was the thing that got me back into it. It was the chance to meet like a ton of different casters as well, being introduced into a lot of people that I see now that I've done some pretty amazing things, honestly. If I found the schedule, I would definitely just name names. I do. There's a giant, massive schedule right here in my face. Isn't that cool? But just like people like Sam, someone like Joker, who I hadn't talked to in years at that point, like Tiny in there as well, Ray, like just people that some that I had never met to that point, and nowadays it's like, oh, these people are just freaking awesome, you know? It's like, dang, I worked with them at one point. That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Like, honestly, I would say the biggest event where I feel a connection to it. It's very random, but it was it's like an Overwatch Swiss series. I don't even remember the full name of it, right? But it's specifically ran out of Switzerland for like Swiss Overwatch and stuff. And it's it was so cool to me purely for the fact of like I did it one year as like oh shoot, we need somebody, can we get somebody in here real quick, and I knew somebody, so they were like, yeah, come in real quick. But then the next year, like they were the first people to ever, for a casting gig, reach out to me, be like, hey, we would like you. And that kind of was a good moment for me where I was like, oh, I actually know what I'm doing. That's cool.
Yeah, it's always fun in these things. But Mega Hunter, do you guys have any questions here for Rhino? Anything you guys want to know about, especially with the behind the scenes stuff?
Actually, I do. Because here's the thing: compared to all of the other producers we work with, Rhino, you are always known as like the quiet one. You are always like very quiet, very methodical. When you have what we call the silly observers in VC, aka some combination of Orange, Cry, and Reach, do you enjoy the silliness, or are you just like, I don't know what's happening here?
Okay, it depends. I can't be surprised that this is my reputation. It depends on how much is going on. I will deafen some time based on what's going on. I don't hate anybody. It's just, six voices in your head will make you go crazy. And I don't want to miss out on when casters. So I also I've been doing esports for a while. I've worked with college kids. I still work with college kids. I'm not scared, or what should I say? It's not like I'm used to shenanigans. There's a lot of shenanigans. I have like younger siblings at home, things like that. So I can tune it out. I just, if I don't need to respond, I just tune it out in my head. If there's a chance to jump in, I will. But a lot of the time, I just have a lot else. I just need to make sure everything's banter at the same time. Usually, if I have a chance to jump in, but I'm usually trying to make sure my stuff doesn't die on me. I do. I can't be surprised. That's my reputation, though. Yeah, if I got, was it Orange and whoever else you said? If they're in,
I think we would say
I'm
that
vibing.
it's like Orange, Reach, Cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could. Do you want to throw Poofa in there?
You 100% throw Poofa in
I mean,
there.
yeah, but Poofa doesn't.
It depends.
She observes every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I welcome them. It's just, I can't match that energy all the time.
Yeah. Sidebar, or kind of an extension to that one. Would you rather? Do you prefer to have people who will always like bring random conversations in, or is it like you really only want people to be focusing? Would you here? Would you want the chaotic kind of conversations that you get with them, or the banter, or would you rather have it be like, there's not a lot of conversations going on. It's just mostly about what we're seeing there, and there's nothing else. Like, do you like both of those, or would you rather have one over the other?
Let's say probably maybe slightly closer to the second. I'm good for conversation. Honestly, I get bored if we're not talking about something. It can be the game. It could be what you did at work that day, what you had for breakfast. If there's not much else going, I love just having some casual conversation, especially if I'm observing. I need some kind of distraction. Well, that can also be if I can hear cats. But like I did I did an observing, I think like a week or two ago, and I just had like no audio. And I couldn't talk to the director. I couldn't hear casters, and I'm just like, I'm just alone with my thoughts.
Slowly starting to.
Granted, I think it was. Yeah, I don't know. It was Rivals, so a lot of the game stuff going on, but you get to a point where it's I need. Is anybody else alive? I need some anybody. So some banter. If it's just nonstop banter, then I just start to tune it out. I don't hate it. I just, it goes right through me. So a little bit would be preferred.
Connor, do you have any question?
This is a question, a form of question I like to ask a lot of people. Is there a certain skill or just a certain thing that you wish you would have done or learned sooner, just when it comes to production in general?
Ooh, that is a good one. There's, I have a list of like all my most tools I use. I think the easier answer would be like vmix, but I still don't really want to learn vmix. I kind of have to, but I'm not doing this stuff full time, so it's kind of like it's a big hurdle for not as much payout. I think, not sure. There's a bunch of different things that I've used throughout the years that some stuff I wish I had found sooner. If anything, I probably would have told myself like buy that CPU soon. Just get rid of that old CPU. If anything, hardware upgrade side. Trying to think of any other stuff that I've used. Definitely a lot of Stream Deck stuff that I've used. It's kind of a matter of has someone made it yet and does it make sense to use it? But there's some stuff that I had wish I had found sooner. Hardware capture card always good. I got one cheap at some point. Something I kind of wish I had gotten around to getting a little sooner, but just never really had much use for it. Not too much else. Most of it's just things I've found throughout the years, and I keep just adding on to my list. If anything, I think what I would have tried to do sooner, I've taken some opportunities when I can, is you taking the tools you have and the workflows you have, and then trying to teach other people on how you use those. Because when I've especially found this at work, I'm training people like every other week on all of our stuff at work. When you're going through your processes and your tools and explaining it to somebody else, that's when you truly start to learn your tools and your workflows and question, like, when you're trying to explain it to someone else, you really question this way. Because if you can't explain it well to somebody else, that's probably a chance for improvement. If you can explain it to someone else, great. Then that means, that it's working pretty solid, and you also have an solid understanding of that tool. But there may come a point where you're explaining these two things or how this connects to the other thing, and it's like, oh, actually, I could do it this other way. Granted, you probably don't want to do that change while you're talking to the person, but definitely something I would want to do more. I just haven't had that much opportunity to, especially with my job currently. I've done it before a few times.
But before we get going, is there anything that you potentially want to ask us? Like that anything you would want to get maybe from our perspective on? Like anything?
Gosh, I've never, I hear you guys in the interview booth all the time. I've never been on the other side. What's the caster life? No, what's gosh, I don't even know. I've never been on this side of the table. Is this what it feels like in the interview when you guys are just got that new player coming in?
I would say it's more like you always try to find like some very easy question, like one that you could ask everyone over and over and over again, like, you played good, what went into that, or something like that, or how was the communication, what happened? What was your team's talk when this happened?
You know,
Like,
softball it.
yeah, it's like there's never. I would never necessarily say like there's a hard question we ask, because a lot of times I don't think, especially with some players, you don't want to ask them a really hard question, because then you'll just get an answer that not even you were prepared for.
Okay. I don't know what's like, because I'm always doing stuff. I guess when I'm just curious from broadcast side. I'm just someone who's lived in. What's like your most common things that's either like going through your head, kind of like your plan of stuff you want to do during breaks? Because I don't know, with our stuff we commonly work on together, you might not have too much, but I guess like larger stuff, or maybe just the level of stuff we work on. What's kind of do you have like a common stuff you're trying to get done during breaks, or dependent on the day or the game? What's kind of going through your head during those times?
I'll say, at least for me, it depends on the game. It depends on if it is close or if it is a blowout. If it's close, then I will try to talk with the other caster, say like, okay, who's doing good, who's doing bad, talk about what we've seen so far. If it's a blowout, it might just be like one comment saying like, God, this team's killing. I'm running. I'm trying to say good things about the team that's getting killed, but it's just becoming something like, oh wow, they got a kill. I want to stop saying like that's the only good thing they're doing.
Yeah,
I feel like that's how Rocket League happens sometimes. If it is just one side dominating, like, oh, they got another goal. This happens.
Oh, they sent them to Brazil for the second time this series.
Them to Brazil. No, it's probably about the same thing for me in this instance. Like Dex can attribute, because we've had some plenty of casts together over the last few months, where there would just be times where we realize the way a game is going, and we're just like, well, we have to sit here and be like, okay, we know how this is going. The audience probably knows that this is going. At this point, the teams probably know how this is going, and you have to kind of take them and be like, okay, how can we possibly amp this up in a way that is meaningful? And it can be hard to, obviously, part of what we got to try to do. And, obviously, I have to release my inner Spectreon during those breaks as well. It's necessary at times, which I don't know. You can both contribute to that.
See, like, unless the game is like horrendously bad, generally speaking, I'm just off topic in my own brain. I'll just be sitting there, like if it's like a decent game or even a good game, I'll just be like, oh, I really need to get some water. Or just something like that, just straight up just not thinking about the game at all. If the game is awful, as these two can attribute, I will straight up just be like, fuck, man, this game sucks. These people are absolutely awful. Why are they wasting my time?
Shout out to 2 weeks ago on Rising Corridor. Echo forgot to mute the mics after the game.
Oh no! There's no way.
I will say this: it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was not.
It
bad.
wasn't bad. I flamed the fuck out of two teams. I flamed the fuck out of. I was like, all these players are shit. What the fuck are they doing?
About that.
But at the end of the day, I'm me. So nobody made a comment on it. But if somebody did, I would have just doubled down. I would have been like, "Yeah, you were shit, and I don't like you. What's the problem?" I make friends. Great.
I feel like I remember seeing notifications about that.
Yeah.
Or someone talking about it.
Yeah, I believe actually you may know more about this since you are a producer. Basically, because Echo set up her own package, she was like doing replays herself from something. I think it was like either her own PC or like a second setup, and basically because to make sure the replays could play during the intermission screen, she just duplicated the replay scene instead of making a new intermission screen. And that's why the audio carried over, because it wasn't actually on that scene.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I love Overwatch.
Fun times.
So great.
Fun times. All right.
Replay's always tricky.
Yeah. All right. But before we go, does anyone else have anything that you guys would like to ask Rhino?
Yeah, I'm good. I got my silly out of the way.
Yeah, well, the silly's not done yet, but yeah, I think I got my
serious, hard hitting question. Okay.
Look, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not.
Have you talked about any game?
No. Dex, am I free to rip?
Yeah, you're free.
Let it rip.
That. Yeah.
Go.
I was setting you up for that.
Dex. All right. So listen, Rhino. This is gonna be a hard hitting, like the actual hardest question you will have all day. All right.
I have to pull
Yeah,
up
lock
photos,
in.
so.
So listen.
I deal with customer service, so I don't know.
You know, have you ever heard of the show Blue's Clues?
Yeah.
Have you ever watched Blue's Clues? Or have you just heard of it?
I did watch it a while ago.
What would be your reaction to the information and the knowledge, which is the true fact, that the landlord of the house where Blue and Steve live,
he doesn't own the home? Hold on.
Mr. Salt owns the home.
Mr. Salt owns the home?
Mr. Salt is the official landlord on the deed.
That's not the Mr. Salt I grew up.
Yeah, no, get to the real Mr. Salt. We've been over this. The real one.
Get
there
that garbage out of here.
Hey.
Wait, but he's a landlord. Fuck him.
Yeah.
He is the landlord of the house. He's officially listed on the deed as the owner.
Where's the deed? Did they show it?
Apparently, I was reading the Blue's Clues Wikipedia one day, and under the fun facts of Mr. Salt, it says he's the landlord of the house.
You can't just say one day, like you just stumbled upon it.
Listen, there's a reason my profile picture is currently paprika. It's
okay.
Yeah. Listen, like it was a rabbit hole. I fell down. Like, watch, scroll down. It's literally in his trivia.
Their lore. Where's the lore section?
Goddamn.
Where the hell is it?
You gotta like Control F deed, or if it's not there,
it's not there.
Maybe Mega's making it up.
No,
check the edit history on
there.
The recent edits.
Hold up. No, I'll pull it up.
Mega's rewriting history out here.
Am I spelling deed wrong?
No, you're probably spelling it right.
Isn't it two E's?
Yeah, that's how I'm spelling it.
Yeah, that's how you spell deed.
Hang on, now I'm pulling this up.
That's a lot of galleries. That's not what I'm looking for.
I literally read this. I read it with my own two eyes.
Mr. Salt was originally given a Brooklyn accent instead of being French.
What?
Yeah, there's also like a whole seasonings family. He's got like 4 kids. Where is it?
Okay, here's his family. Oh wait, no, that's not all kids. That's not all the kids. You're right. We only ask hard-hitting questions here, Rhino.
The
source isn't. It's not working out.
No, okay, wait. It's fine. I'll find it. I know I'll find it.
It is assumed that he is one of the owners of that. I don't know.
Factual.
It also mentions they're the oldest residents of the house. I don't know. This sounds like Mr. Salt sabotage.
I
cannot believe that we are actually looking up the fucking.
This is important.
No, I literally looked this. I was reading it. I know this is real.
It says they're the oldest residents, but it doesn't mention the deed.
Listen, I know I've read this. Hang on, I'll find it.
I do find
the episode Blue's First Holiday.
Yeah, it does say it is assumed that he is one of the owners of the house. Is what?
Maybe
I love it how on the residence it says Steve and Joe formerly left.
Yeah, they got him.
Formerly left.
They got him.
They got him.
Completely off topic. Y'all ever see that clip from the TED show where the dude's like, "Yeah, listen, we knew this one kid. Yeah, but they got him."
Yeah, but they got him. What do you mean they got him?
I kind of liked him too.
Yeah, I kind of liked him too. He shared his Dunkaroos with me. Anyway, hard-hitting journalism here.
I can't. Mega, you might have to ask a different question next week if we find out it's not actually Mr. Salt's house.
Okay, no, I will find it. I know what I read. I may have been like extremely tired. It may have been like 3 a.m. when I was doing this binge into the Blue Clues Wikipedia, but I know it was there. I'll find it. Don't you worry.
This sounds like propaganda against Mr. Salt.
Mega is gonna email the creator of Blue's Clues and ask who owns the house.
I'm pulling up on Steve. Fuck you mean? I don't need the creator.
All right. But Hunter, do you have anything else, or are you hard into?
I'm putting a lot on the wiki now.
Nah, I'm on
all...
page 6 of Google right now.
Mr. Salt is/was a lifeguard. There you go.
We'll find it. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
That's lifeguard and homeowner. What else can't he do?
Gotta be here somewhere.
No, like here. This is probably the part where Mega's saying it is. It's here. There were adults while the others were all littles. It is assumed that he is one of the owners of the house.
No, I'm telling you.
That's what I was saying.
I read the word deed. I'm telling you. I'll find it. Don't you worry.
All right.
I'm trying.
All right.
Can we end this now?
Yeah, no, that's what I was getting. That's what I was getting to.
I'm doing research. I don't know about you all.
All right, Rhino. Hey,
I gotta rep. I'm going back. Mega's gonna hit me with the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, Rhino, man. Hey, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was great to have you on. Hunter and Mega. Well, I imagine you guys are deep in the lore crusade here. Thank you as always for being on. Rhino, again, one more time, thank you. And everyone, thank you for watching or listening to this episode For the Love of Prod. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Blue Sky, subscribe to us on YouTube. I think it's subscribe on or follow us on Spotify as well. And make sure you guys tune in next week for another good, I hope, episode of For the Love of Prod, where, as always, I have no idea who the guest is going to be. So you guys will know what I know. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and see you all next week.